Welcome to the Aligned Ambition Show, where we share women's entrepreneurial wisdom. Are you a woman starting or growing your online heart-centered business? Are you wanting to do things differently? Do you feel icky about using manipulative marketing tactics and are ready to align your business with your ethics, values, and life goals? If this sounds like you, then stick around for this conversation.
We're the dreamers, the believers, breaking through the mold, building up our visions with a purpose brave and bold.
Welcome to the Aligned Ambition Show. I'm Larissa Russell of Heart Centered Academy, and today I have with me Alyssa Wolf. After having 5 kids in 10 years, crazy, Alyssa went looking for her next challenge and found online business. Wanting to simplify life for moms everywhere, she is now an online business productivity coach for other work-from-home moms who want to make great incomes in part-time hours. She helps them love their mom life again, think less time spent on housework and business to-dos, more time being present with their kids while still making time for them to recharge, confident that they've handled everything their business needs. So welcome, Alyssa. I can't even imagine, before I even ask you a question, I can't even imagine 5 kids. I had 2 and was exhausted all the time. So I can't even imagine it. So we will get to that. But welcome, Alyssa.
Thank you, Larissa.
Can you, before we jump into the whole how do you do it thing, just tell us a little bit more about yourself and, how you ended up doing what you do?
Sure. Well, I started with the standard, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get the perfect major, I'm going to get married, have this wonderful purpose, have the family along with it, and life didn't go that way. I wasn't even a year into university, and I was like, I cannot get through this entire 4-year degree. I'm going to flake out, I'm going to quit. So I had to pivot my major. That turned out to be not the kind of major that you can go get a job with, which is against everything my parents told me to do. And then I met a guy, and I was like, okay, what are we going to do here? So the answer turned out to be, let's find something you love to study, get out of college, get married, start having the kids, because I have nothing that will help me for job experience. It's just an interdisciplinary degree. And then be sitting there going, all right, well, I'll learn how to raise a family, but where's my purpose? Where's this thing that I'm supposed to give back to the world that's in addition to the family? Since I don't see why women can't be like men in that sense. Your purpose is your family plus whatever your particular gifting is, right? So I don't think your gifting as a woman disappears just because you get pregnant. So I'm sitting there having kid number 1, kid number 2, no purpose, kid number 3, no purpose, kid number 4, no purpose, kid number 5. 6 months after kid number 5, I hear a podcaster talk about online business. Don't know what rock I was living under, never heard of it before. Wow, this is the thing. I don't have to leave home, have a commute, give up staying at home raising my 5 kids, and I can give back to the world. Wow, sign me up. Except if I do this right now, instead of waiting till I'm 50 something, this 6-month-old has graduated from high school, I'm going to have to make it work with 5 kids in tow, which is not the typical online business thing. And I'm like, well, faith or fear, I think I would rather try for this now than feel like this angsty weight of, I think it was 13 years by that point, is going to have another 17 years tacked on top of it. So an entire 30-year wait to get to give back. So that is the interesting version of how I got into online business.
I love that. And it's so true, right? Because we're constantly I know I was constantly seeking what is your purpose? For me, it was what is going to spark joy in me? What is going to give me a reason to want to get up every morning besides I have to go to work and I have to pay the bills and I have these kids to raise and all of those things. There's aspects of it I loved. I was going to say I love it all. No, I didn't. There was aspects of it I loved, but there was also, I knew I wasn't doing what I wanted to be doing, but I didn't know what I wanted to be doing. And so how did you figure that out? Okay, now you know that there's this online world and you can do anything online, but how did you figure out what to do online?
Great question. Of course, I listened to the standard advice of you have to do something you're good at. And as you probably know, one gets into that, yeah, but I'm good at a lot of things. So I tried adding a second question. What could I see myself talking about for years and years without getting bored? And that cut out a lot of the, oh, I'm good at this and this and this type of things. And I ended up saying, decluttering and minimalism, like all that spark joy stuff, or productivity. So initially, I just said, let's get the ball rolling. Let's talk about both of them. And I can always niche more later. So yes, I did have to drop the one because you can't be both a minimalist coach and a time coach. But I started talking about those two things.
Okay. Yeah. And that's a really good point. We often start in one place and it's not where we end up because we have to try it. We have to build it. We have to be able to move towards it because we don't just all of a sudden wake up one day and go, okay, this is the thing. And then we take, I mean, there might be one or two people in the world that do that, but for the majority of us, we start and go, okay, yeah, this is it. And then it's like, oh, but what about this? And we could add that. And then, oh, but. And then, 5, 6 years later, you're in a totally different place, but much happier.
Yes. And I don't know about you, but for me, part of the niching process was realizing, okay, I've spent a couple of years talking about decluttering. I don't feel like I have anything more to say. Well, a couple of years is a pretty long time period, but that's not nearly long enough for the life cycle of a business. So, yes, I had plenty to say, but that was not going to have longevity. Time management, I still felt like I hadn't even scratched the surface of that for moms and business owners.
Yeah. So let's talk about time management then, because honestly, there is so many things as someone who, the story that I tell myself is I waste a lot of time. I'm a great procrastinator. I also have ADHD and so get distracted very easily. I know for my own self when I take regular breaks and do something creative or do something, for me, I do much better, but then I feel guilty about doing that. And yet I'm much more productive when I do it. It's a head game I play. So, what are some tips that you have for women out there that are like trying to do all the things and feeling they can't and all of that? Do you have a tip or two?
Yes. Number one, get out of this do more discipline should oriented mold. You don't need more advice. It's all about just do it. What you need is more permission, just like what you were saying. I'm way more productive if I let myself do fun stuff during the day. Okay, that is your personal version of productivity. So ditch the book that says work before play perpetually. Never start your day out with something fun. You should eat your big frog of the day first. That doesn't work for you. You've already figured that out. In other words, they don't know you. Their advice is junk.
Hmm.
And women in general, when we have so much going on in our lives, like we don't need more stuff we have to manage and handle and stay on top of. We need something that's going to support us because you need to use all that emotional energy on parenting the kids and not getting mad at your husband and dealing with work, right? You don't need something else that's going to put more pressure on you, trying to constrict you and jam you into this tight little super type A, super productive mold of someone who always goes after every single goal she ever potentially even thinks of, right? Except that's what we think we're supposed to be doing as mothers. That's what our culture is telling us. You have to be performing at this ridiculously high level, never miss a day, be happy with it, count yourself fortunate and blessed. And then why aren't you happy? Why isn't your life good? Why aren't you satisfied with it? When maybe what you need is a business that will let you take time off with your kids because they're in the nursery phase, they're coming home sick every other week, or you have ADHD and you really need to have a house that's set up with lots of little project stations for all your fun stuff that you never feel like someone's on you to pick up because you need to be able to just go sit down and do some more, right? Or
Hmm.
maybe you feel like you're way over there on the HSP spectrum. You need complete quiet. You need your kids off in daycare 4 out of 5 days of the week, and the other day is mommy fun day with them. You need special accommodations. But isn't that the point of personalization? Special accommodations for you, your children, and your entire family culture.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant because it's true. Our culture is, it doesn't have value unless, someone else finds value in it. So you must produce, produce, produce. So things like being creative, unless you're selling it and, other people think it's amazing, it doesn't have value. But the time you spend being creative may be the best thing you can do to actually be productive in other areas. And you're right, it's different for everyone what that looks like. But absolutely, we have been taught things that go against our absolute, feminine nature to try and live in this world that we live in. And then we go, okay, this isn't working. And then we step out of it. Okay, I'm going to do my own business, but then we still try to use that same model. And that's where we often get caught up, right? Is in that produce, produce, produce model. And it's like, that's actually not the most effective for us, most of us. And yeah, I absolutely love that. And so you have five kids. I like honestly, I can't even imagine it because like I said, I had two and I was overwhelmed. The idea of having five kids, how old are your kids now?
6 through 16.
Wow. Okay. So you still have young ones. They're not all like self-sustaining and off doing their own thing. And you've had your business, I'm assuming, for a few years. And so how did you do that with small children? So I know that's what you coach, but like give me some like examples of what that looks like because I honestly cannot even imagine it.
Well, short form, yes. I only started the business when that youngest one was the 6 or 7 months old. So she was a little bit more sleep trained. So I could get up like an hour and a half before she was going to get up and need to be fed. And I could use nap time since she's small. So I had like an instant 3 to 4 hours a day to work on the business right there. In that case, I could just be stay-at-home mom for the rest of my day. It didn't matter too much because I still had some evening downtime. So I wasn't giving up all of my free time towards the business. And if you can work 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, 20 hours, that's pretty reasonable for online business.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good point, right? And we're so busy trying to do all the other things. If we're a stay-at-home mom, we're trying to do all the other things when they're sleeping. They tell us to rest, but we don't. But that's a perfect, if you're doing something that feeds you, like physically, but also emotionally and mentally, feeds you to, it brings you joy to work on this business. That is a really good use of time. So for those who think they need to work 8 hours a day or 12 hours a day or 16 hours a day to start a business, what are the key things that you think they need to do to be able to start if they haven't yet, or pare down if they've already started?
I have you brain dump first of all, just so you're aware of everything that's been kind of looming in the back of your mind. But then in general, I like to break it down into a few separate categories. So number one, your niche. Have you already picked the one thing you want to be known for that you want to talk about? Do you have your 3 to 5 content pillars you're going to talk about underneath that? Have you picked a platform that you're going to produce this content on? Whether that's, the written, the video, whatever, audio, podcasting, whatever. And then have you come up with a bit of a brand identity? Because you can't just say, I am a financial coach. Yeah, but what flavor of financial coach for whom, right? And please go ahead, have a little bit of fun, like give yourself a week to go pick. Here are the brand colors that would embody this, like the emotional resonances. Well, if you've got that, you can just pretty much start out doing things. It's letting yourself have a little bit of time to do that research and pick, but not too much. We're not spiraling down the rabbit hole of every single social media platform. We're just saying, browse a little, I think that one. And you'll know in a couple months, you're like, I hate that one and I have to swap. Or if it's fine. I think I might want another course on how to do it better, but it's fine. I can get it into a routine. So you don't have to have the website and the email list and the offer and the coaching program and the 4 downloadables. Like you don't have to have all of that right from the get-go, as long as you have a handful of core things. And then you can have round two of maybe I do want a site, or maybe I do want the email list and I want one freebie to send everyone to, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a really good point. The staying with the keep it simple, right? There are people who have businesses that don't have websites, that don't have, they do, look at Etsy, for example. If you have an Etsy store, I don't think that would be the sole thing I would recommend, but there are people who do it that way. They
Mhm.
set up on Etsy, they sell the thing, and that's where they sell it. That's how they do it. They don't have a list, they don't have anything else, they don't have to do social media, they just do that. There are so many different ways now. And if you don't know where to start, I don't know about your feelings about AI, but I love AI. If you don't know where to start, like for example, exploring platforms, that where you can be really helpful. doing research and things like that. I get AI to do a lot of research for me, and I find it amazing to compare things with AI. And, even if you want to go and check them all out individually and do it yourself, that's how I did it, back in the day. But there are easier ways now. But just like, yeah, check it. And if you see something that looks good, don't get stuck in the, oh, but there might be something better. You're right, there might be something better, but let's get going. Let's get started. Let's do something as opposed to waiting. Yeah. Your thoughts on that?
100%, especially because the one thing you could imagine that might be better, that would take this 80% platform to the 95%, I bet you're going to find out it has some super huge drawback, even if it's just price. You're going to be like, no, not that one. And you will wish that you had just gotten started on the 80% good enough platform 3 months ago instead of trying to find the exact right thing. You can always pivot. You can always move your content. You can always add another platform later. Just please, you have to start getting that body of work out, even if nothing else, to develop the confidence and to start refining your own voice.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you. I see that you have a free gift for our listeners. Have it all game plan. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, this is just a few quick questions that will let me know where you're at in this work from home, trying to build a business, manage the kids and the chores in the house. And then if you fill that out, I can go through and record you a quick video personalized to your exact situation, saying, okay, I think if you fix this, this, and this, you're going to get to the goal that you told me about in that quick questionnaire.
Oh my goodness, that's a great offer. Thank you. Like that's not the typical um, opt-in, if you will, that we typically see because we want it to be automated and all of that. But personalized video that's amazing. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I hope our listeners take you up on that. I know people often are concerned about, the upsell and all of that, but honestly, do it because you will learn something that you need to learn, and then you can make decisions after there. And honestly, I'm thinking I need to work with Alyssa. So, it's and I've been doing this for a long time. So there you go. Um, Alyssa, is there any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience before we go?
Sure. Just fix the frustration points in your schedule. So don't turn this into how to become Larissa 2.0, right? Or 3.0 or 4.0. Just say, what's really annoying me every single day or every single week, whether it's in my business or whether it's my family, and start solution finding for that. You will be a lot happier, which will snowball into productivity. It's that easy.
Yes. When you enjoy what you're doing, it is so much easier to do it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, I want to thank you so much for being here. One final question. I know we're going to have the links below, but where can people find you?
Sure, you can go to yourunbusylife.com, or if you're also a podcast listener, I love binging podcasts, just search The Unbusy Mom. We have podcast episodes coming out every Tuesday and Thursday. They're less than 7 minutes because, hey, we're moms are busy. Needs to be super bite-sized transformation nuggets for you.
I love that. Love that. Perfect. Well, thank you again. And for our listeners, we will see you again next time on the Aligned Ambitions Show. Are you a woman interested in aligning your heart-centered business with your ethics, values, and life goals? Join our Aligned Business Building Mastermind for accountability, like-minded women who become your business colleagues to share your journey with, resources and trainings, and so much more. Join us for 1 month free using the link below. Thank you, and we'll see you next time on the Aligned Ambitions Show.